A lot of this stuff, I'm just now realizing I still need to process. My mama did everything they told her that she was supposed to do, and she not even here to live it. I decided at that point I was going to trust what was within me. I felt like if I could develop a voice, that can never be taken from me. Just yesterday, I got to the point where I was like, man, I'm just about to stop everything.
Bet on me, bet on myself. Feel good waking up whenever I want to. Feel good not sleeping in cause shit to do. Feel good doing what I want when I want to. Bet on me, bet on myself. Feel good.
So to whom it may concern, man, this has been an interesting journey. I never, ever, not one time coming up, imagined myself creating music. I mean, I was just like every other kid, I guess, to whatever degree. I was a big fan of music. It's a part of our culture. It's a part of our fabric. Like, very into it. That's just my personality type. Obsessive. I just learned it's what you obsess over. Loved music. Was the kid that could burn CDs before anybody, so I was the source of it. I would scope out, like, really fine details to find hidden gems, and I would literally be breaking it to people. Countless amount of times I would find a song and be the only one listening to it, and nobody was rocking with it until it came on the radio, but then they don't want to give you credit. Yeah, I was that kid. So looking back, it kind of makes sense. You know, my mother used to write poetry. When I look back on, certain times with her, she always kept a new CD in rotation. And one thing I remember is she was very vast in her range of music. Like, I remember one time we bought a Christina Aguilera CD, but she also had Whitney Houston. She had Monica. She had Brandy. Then she would get Juvenile CD. Like, you know what I mean? I remember one thing she said that it reminds me of her character, her nature. It was a time when Sammy was out. I like the way you, hey, that era. And Lil Corey had came out too. This was the first time in my life. If y'all don't remember Lil Corey, look him up. And I don't know exactly what I said, but it would have to been something along the lines of, like, why are we getting this or whatever. But we were in the store, and she bought Lil Corey album. And I'm like, Lil Corey? I mean, Sammy. What she said, she just looked, she was like, somebody got to support him. That's what I came up under. That was, mom's, that if I take anything musically from her, that's what I remember the most. And deep down inside, she didn't live long enough for me to ask her this question, but I wonder if she had dreams of being a singer. It only would make sense. She wrote poetry. She was very creative. And she kept up with the times as far as music. So yeah, that's the extent of my musical background prior to me starting to make music. All my life, as shallow as it may be, I knew I was gonna be in the NFL, really. Moms got sick in middle school, and it happened about 7th grade. 8th grade finished up, and we moved back home. Because at the time, she knew that it was terminal. She didn't tell us, her kids, her children. I don't know who else knew, but I know we didn't know. When she got sick, it was a shock, of course. But being that young and naive, you just think, okay, it's a phase. Like, she got cancer, she's sick, it'll, we'll get through it. That's all I knew up until that point, 11, 12, 13. So looking back, she most likely decided to come home because she knew that'd be her final destination. My father was retiring from the service, and yeah, it was another change. I did elementary in Oklahoma, middle in Maryland. So every time one phase of schooling started, that we were beginning in a new place. Middle school, Maryland, high school here. And I had to fight to stay down here. My mama didn't want me to stay down here, but I just felt like if everybody leaves what's ours, then of course it's going to go down. So I'm not going to be a part of that. Lost my train of thought. This isn't really about moms and that. So let me just, I guess, get back to the point. I kind of lost it, but that happens, right? Maybe I need to talk about that more. So yeah, like she finally passed away. I was 17 years old. It was my junior year, and I'll never forget that day because the person I was with at the time, we had fourth period together. And y'all, I have no reason to fabricate anything. That's one thing you're going to realize. Like, when I look back on it, I've had some moments, man. Has to be a source. It has to be. I've lived to have those type of testimonies. But we had fourth period together. We were sitting at the back of class, and 5-10 minutes, maybe even a lesser amount of time than that, I remember looking at her like, man, something feel off, like, or something don't feel right. I think that's what I said. Something don't feel right. And she didn't really, she just, she looked, but she didn't really say nothing back. And the bell rung. It was almost like a movie in my head, right? How we remember it. But I remember saying that, like, she looking, the bell rung. All right, after when the bell ring, that's your time to, parlay in politics. Yeah, I thought the camera went off. Another raw moment. But, like, I thought, that's your time to parlay politics, see all your homeboys, whatever, be seen, But we were upstairs, we walked down the breezeway, and I never do this. Like, I played football, so, we had our parking lot, the field house, and but when the buses are there, you got about, from the time all the buses clear out to be in the field house and putting your stuff on for practice. So I never end up in the front of the school by the basketball courts looking out at all of this stuff. I don't know how I ended up there. But we ended up there, me and old girl, and my first cousin, who at the time was dating my ace, one of my homeboys, star running back. They ended up in our cipher, in our circumference of energy. And I'm looking at her, like, remember now, I said what I said, but I didn't think none of it. So I'm looking at her, and she like eyes red, kind of welling up, and she just shaking her head, looking at me. And I look at my homeboy, and he's like really jovial, always cracking joke, that's his energy. He was upbeat. And he looking at me like, they're just looking at me, bro. Like, I can't. I'm smiling now, but I can't. But like, really, like, distraught looking. So I asked him, what's going on? Like, what's up? She wouldn't say nothing. So I looked at him. What? So in my mind, I'm assuming, now keep in mind, if I'm facing straight out and I'm looking at the parking lot, the field house to my right, I'm looking at them like this. And I'm like, what's going on? What's going on? They don't want to say nothing, so I'm like, what? All right, y'all tripping. I'm thinking they just had an argument or a disagreement or whatever like that, and I'll hear about it later. Literally, as soon as I wrote them off and look back this way, I see every coach that we have. Solly, Coach Secrets, Coach Mitchell, Coach Sam. I think was Mr. Olsen there? I don't think so. Coach Legree was there. But I don't remember seeing him. Was he? I don't remember seeing him. But they were marching from the field house. Like, 1, 2, all of them, like, marching. And, like, I'm watching this, right? And then they just end up beelining, coming straight to me. Coach Legree had to been there. Coach Legree was the man who saw me sitting in the bleachers as a new student, not knowing nobody, and just talking to me, asking me, you know, what's my name, where I'm from, I'm new, whatever, and asked me, did I want to play football? And like a little shy kid, I'm like, yeah. All right, well, come out there. And that's what got me into football. So he was the first to get me in it, and it's fitting that he was the one who pulled me to this. All the coaches walked, but he came out and pulled me to the side. And if y'all know St. John's High, I'm facing out that way, the field house that way, my cousins are there. You could go that way and end up on the back end of the field house where the football field was.